Good morning, and welcome to All People's Church, Unitarian Universalist. My name is Michael Zepeda, and I am your co-celebrant this morning. Our minister, Lori King Nelson, is in the pulpit. We especially welcome those who are visiting today. If you haven't yet done so, please sign in at the visitors table by the front door. This is where you are placed on our email list and our weekly emails and the monthly newsletter. Before we continue on to worship, I have a few announcements. You may have noticed David Bindi has set up a church donation store in the foyer. It's back to school season, so this is for the benefit of Eastside Ministries. There are backpacks, socks, underwear, a few other sundries. All the items are $5. Just put the money in the jar and put the item in the red cart, and we will make sure that both get over to Eastside. And thank you for your generosity as kids are heading back to school. Our annual winter water communion and t-shirt day is 2 weeks from today. It's August the 24th. In this service, we will share water from somewhere that has meaning to you, and we want you to wear your favorite t-shirt supporting a cause near and dear to your heart. Water will be available, and when you add water to the All People's Church water, you tell them the water we have collected will represent our shared values, and we hold that for future ceremonies as we start the new year. We will also have a blessing of the backpacks on that day. Our community of names this morning will include a brief memorial for Gail Roundtree, who passed away this last Tuesday, August the 5th. Now please settle in comfortably for the musical prelude.
Much, Misha. It's beautiful. I want to welcome everyone here this morning, but especially the family and friends of Gail Roundtree. We are so honored to have you here with us this morning. Let's prepare ourselves for the coming hour. We gather here for grace that turns our intentions into deeds, our compassion into helpfulness, our pain into mercy. We gather here for community that sustains and supports our needs. We lift our hearts in thankfulness and pray only to be more aware and thus more alive. Let us come together this hour in love.
We now invite you to rise, embody your spirit for the chalice lighting, our opening hymn, and our spoken affirmation. Our chalice lighting words were written by Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by the spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lit the flame within us. Please join now in the singing of our hymn of the month for August. That is number 368, Now Let Us Sing. You'll find the text in the gray hymnal and on the screen. Now, if you'd please join in our spoken affirmation. The words are on the order of service and are also projected on the screens. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. And the young at heart are now invited to come forward here at the front of the chancel for the story for all ages, read by Lori King Nelson. Here come the kids.
Hey, good morning. So just to bring everyone else up to date, we have been talking about our affirmation, haven't we? And learning what the big words mean in that. Last week, we talked about community, and this week I want to talk just a minute about community within community. Because we don't all do the same thing at church, do we? No, we come here and some of us go to the nursery and play, some of us go to and have fun, yes. Some of us stay in here and don't have fun, but that's okay. That's okay. They're dissenting over there. They have fun. I'll be talking about y'all later. But the community can mean a lot of different things within the church. And so what I wanted to, these are bubbles, and I am so sorry that they are champagne bubbles, but that's all I could find. I am not encouraging y'all to drink, okay? So if anybody else wants bubbles, I'm going to leave the rest of them up here. So I was trying to figure out this morning, and it was very unsuccessful, but I was trying to figure out how to blow a bubble inside a bubble. Do you need help opening it? Yeah, probably so, because I had to really wrangle mine. Ronan, do you want help? Yeah, we're going to blow bubbles. Yeah, because who says we can't have fun? There we go. So what I was trying to do was blow a bubble in a bubble. Do you think you can do that? Oh. Okay, I blew a bubble and I caught it. Oh, and I broke it. Okay, that one popped. Let's try again. Yeah? So are you trying to blow a bubble inside your bubble? That's what I'm trying to do. Oh, that popped before I even blew. So this was supposed to be to illustrate what we do when we get to church. We don't just all go sit together. Community means that we come together in one place, and then we move into the spaces that we create or make us comfortable and happy. So, like, some of us like to stay in here. Some of us like to go in the kitchen and do things. Some of us what? You do math constantly? Is that what you said? Wow. I can do math, but I don't like doing it constantly. So what I want y'all to practice this week is with your bubbles, I want you to learn how to blow a bubble inside a bubble. And
blew a bubble on touching the outside of a bubble.
Well, and that's, yes, that is very, oh, your bubbles popped or went together.
Look, wait.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
One time I holding a bubble in my hand, it was really it's very simple.
I'm glad it's easier to have communities within communities in church rather than have bubbles in bubbles, because I'm not good at that. So, while y'all are blowing bubbles,
I got a double one, but that's close.
let's say our affirmation again, okay? And I want y'all to join in, all right? It's what we've been talking about this week, the affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. Remember, we're almost at the end of all the big words, right? Yeah, we're second to the last line now. So if y'all will join in with us, love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with creation. Thus we do covenant with one another. All right. Do y'all want to take some more bubbles with you? So maybe you have some at home? Okay. All right. Because y'all might go through all of these. Ronan?
Do you want extra?
Ronan, do you want another one?
Okay.
Champagne. Wait, what happens if I blow two bubbles, forcing them to go together?
It does. That makes community. For sure. Yeah.
Community of the bubbles.
The community of the bubbles, exactly.
It's puppy.
I know. I have that same problem. Yeah. You go practice. All right, let's sing them out. Probably not should do that. It'll upset your tummy. As we
It is our custom to share the undesignated cash offerings that are collected each week, and we do this on a quarterly basis for a nonprofit or charitable organization. Our current Share the Plate recipient is Eastside Community Assistance, also known as Eastside Ministries. If you prefer, donations can be made using the QR code that is on the back of the order of service. The offering will now be accepted. Will the ushers please come forward?
At this time in our service, we pause to honor and to give time and attention to those things most important to us. We gather here for healing and for peace in our hearts and in the world, and honor our time together with the shared stories and news from the congregation. Each week, there's a journal outside the entrance to the sanctuary where you can write a message of memory or hope. Also, at any time during our service, you are welcome to come forward and light a candle in our meditation center here next to the chancel. We honor these messages by lighting 3 candles here next to our chalice. Today, from our book of memory and hope, someone said they are thankful for the joy in their life. And they wrote this during the conference yesterday. I saw them writing it. I talked with them later, and part of their joy was being here at the conference. Lifting up the family and friends of Gail Roundtree. I'm going to ask that you get your hymnal and stand as you are able and sing with us, My Life Flows On in Endless Song, number 108. You may be seated. Gail requested that the larger circle be read, and so here it is. We clasp the hands of those that go before us and the hands of those who come after us. We enter the little circle of each other's arms and the larger circle of lovers whose hands are joined in a dance, and the larger circle of all creatures passing in and out of life who move also in a dance to a music so subtle and vast that no ears can hear it except in fragments. I'm going to invite Craig to come up now and speak. Go ahead.
I served here from 1991 to 2009, and Gail was a big part of many of those years. I had the privilege of getting to visit her in the last few months of her life, met her daughters. I appreciated her looking at me straightforwardly and said, "I'm not afraid of dying." When I'm reflecting on my own end, as we all sometimes do, I'm thinking that's the way I'd like to go, like she has. To not die suddenly and not have the chance to say goodbye at all, to not linger for a long time in pain and suffering, but to have good days like she did, and laugh and joke and be with friends and family and tell people she loved them, and they got to tell her they would miss her. What a lovely way to end. She picked the hymn as well. She didn't want it. First, we were going to have a full memorial service, but then she said, "Well, so many of my friends are gone." That's what happens when you get older. And so we decided on this, to do a short memory. And the family put together a lovely obituary, and I love this picture. I got to know things about Gail I didn't know before, and learned that she was born in a small farming community in Nevada, ranching family. But she became a very independent, strong-willed woman, and very inquisitive and fearless. That's one of her characteristics that mark her, I think. She lived a very full 8 decades, as is written. She became a registered nurse, worked at John Peter Smith in labor and delivery, working with people who were less fortunate. And that was their choice. And she did that with compassion and care. I like that her family wrote that in her 50s were her best decade of life. It's the time she became truly independent. Her children were raised, her now ex-husbands were finding their own independence. And she finally took the time to ask herself what she wanted to do, who she would choose to spend her time with. And she became very involved with this church. Covenant Group, Women's Alliance, service auctions. She went on a mission trip to Nicaragua with me that I led in 2001. One of the places we went was Jinotega, Nicaragua, where they had a clinic for women with difficult pregnancies. And her job was to be the pharmacist. Had a team of doctors and nurses. I was one of the few non-medical people there. She went to Mary with Maine to watch birds. Is that true? And on her one and only cruise, seasickness, I guess, was a reason for only one. But this became her congregation. And one of the things she did here, we do something exceptional in this church. I was telling one of the people visiting for the conference yesterday, we really do sexuality education. We start in kindergarten, but for middle school, I forget how many weeks it is, but 27 2-hour sessions. I may not be exact, but I'm close. That's a lot of time. And Gail taught that with me. We were part of a team. What a wonderful gift for someone who's a registered nurse to give of herself. So she had a gift of making people feel comfortable, have open discussions, and we're very grateful that we got to know her and spend time with her, and are grateful that we got to say goodbye in such a good and meaningful way. May she rest in peace. May the memories that she left with us spread through our lives and on to other generations. May it be so.
Thank you so much, Craig. Your ministry to her and her family was a gift.
Well, I don't miss many things in retirement. I don't miss the board meetings. And I don't miss preaching, surprisingly, but I miss the opportunity to spend time with families like this. So it's been a gift to me to participate in this way. Thank you.
Thank you. Gail was absolutely beloved by this community, and I hope the family and friends know that and know how much we will miss her. Now let us pause for a few moments of quiet meditation to hold and uplift the sorrows and celebrations, both spoken and unspoken, among us. And then Misha will lift our hearts with music. was lovely. Thank you. Aren't we fortunate to have him leading our music? Yeah. So, yesterday, the sanctuary was filled, the kitchen was filled, the Coleman Hall was filled, people were moving around throughout the church, and it was all thanks to Craig and his results group that met here for their larger conference yesterday. I'm not sure what the attendance was. I don't know if you know that. But there were a lot of members from our congregation, and I can safely speak for all of us when I say we left understanding so much more about food insecurity, poverty, ChatGPT, which I did not expect, recruitment, global health and infectious disease, and advocacy on the community and national levels. Thank you, Craig, for the important work you're doing, and also for continuing to minister to this and other communities. It's clear that love guides your ministry. Well, one of the moments we were asked to contemplate during the conference was this. Remember a time when you felt successful about something. The first thing that came to mind for me was the moment I successfully crashed a meet and greet between Emmett Smith and a group of Japanese men at the Super Bowl in 2011. He must have already been getting slow because I was across the parking lot hugging him and screaming, "I love you," before he could react. The last picture that was taken was of Emmett pushing me away and yelling at his crew, who should have never let that happen. In my defense, I do love him. He's a throwback to a time when others in his football community were behaving poorly. But Emmett Smith was doing so much good for our community that he became a shining example of using your fame and education to make the world a better place. Imagine the world we could create if we were all in service to one another. If all our actions were rooted in love. The other point to contemplate was to think about what brought you joy lately. Our state legislators leaving the special session came in a close second to being part of this strong and loving congregation. This place where we gather to share our joys and sorrows, this place from which we teach justice and learn love, a community we have built over generations. Craig built it, Gail built it, Marjorie Montgomery built it. So I pulled out the book, and I just want y'all to know, this community we have built over generations with all of these people, this book holds the names of all of those builders, all of the people who have joined this church, even the ones that aren't here anymore. Everyone's name is in this. Every person in here contributed something to bring this community to life and keep it growing. Each person a building block for a congregation rooted in love, not just surviving, but thriving. That's not where we stop, though. We can't just make a community and call it good, because building the infrastructure only brings us together. It's the people who have to do the heavy work of keeping us together. Last week, I talked about community being the holy grail of church life. It's true. Every church wants their congregational life to be vibrant and fulfilling. There are lots of communities today that offer belonging, relationship, and purpose. And good community experiences are ones where we matter, where we're loved, and where we have an opportunity to love others too. Offering multiple communities within our church community encourages relationships to form around those mutual interests. They give people the opportunity to make friendships with people who have something in common. We talked last week about how communities can form around quilting, around crafting, arts, social justice causes, and even our pets. Remember Cobweb? For those who missed last week, Cobweb was a beloved member of a community in Scotland who passed away from severe asthma. The fact that Cobweb was a chicken made no difference to the town folk who loved her. There was music and a service, but most importantly, there was love. Cobweb left behind a community of people committed to one another. What makes the UU community unique is that every thought we think, every action we take, every word we speak is first formed from love. Church communities rooted in love are those where the foundational principle is love, expressed through relationships, actions, and a deep understanding of the divine and holy nature of life. This means prioritizing love in leadership and interactions with one another. It involves practicing radical welcome, fostering genuine connections, and extending love to all, especially those on the margins. For us, love isn't just an emotion. It's a core principle that shapes our beliefs and actions and guides our lives. That's transformative. But like I mentioned earlier, we can't just throw a church together, find a concert-level pianist, and a bunch of techies behind the mystery box over there, and expect that people will show up every week for the service. We can't do that and call it good. Everyone has to be brought not just into community, but to the decision-making table, because love requires that we all have a say in our church experience. And also, everyone should have the ability to create their own spaces within the church that make them happy and promote growth. Does that sometimes get messy? Oh, you betcha. But doing that makes it our community. Not my community or your community, our community. Does anyone know the percentage of unchurched Americans? It's a lot. Yeah. I'm talking about people who have no affiliation with a spiritual or religious organization. And I think the number is around 33%. Yeah, which would make that about 114 million people. Obviously, people who haven't found us yet. Yeah. Many of them are the nuns and duns, those who have found religious communities to be exclusionary, hypocritical, predatory, everything that is the opposite of loving. People who have gotten themselves as far away as they could from the pain caused by their religious experience, keep that with them for a long, long time. Some of them are finding their way here and are surprised at the welcome they receive, the genuine welcome. We continue to improve our use of pronouns. We grow with every opportunity to meet someone where they are and love someone for who they are. We're preparing our open arms to welcome every one of those 114 million nuns and duns should they decide to try again. Okay, maybe not all in this building. Maybe when we think of a time we felt successful about something, it will be those moments when we let love lead us to cry over a chicken or rejoice over a queer person finally finding peace. I was at a non-UU ministers retreat years ago, and one of the old white guys, and I mean no disrespect, but hang on. So he is talking about how inclusive and affirming his church was, and yet Black people and queer people would visit and never return. When I asked what they said when he called to see what programs or groups they were looking for, he said, and sadly I quote, "People don't always like what a church has to offer. What are we going to do? Chase them down?" I thought about the parable of the shepherd who has 100 sheep and loses one of them. He goes off and finds it, returning with it on his shoulders, joyously shouting that he found it. His community celebrated. So yeah, I think we are supposed to love them enough to find them and celebrate. Run up to them and hug them like they're Emmett Smith. Feel the joy as if they are the lawmakers leaving Texas. Love them as fiercely as that little Scottish town loved Cobweb. We're proud of the community we are creating here, and we're adding to the history of this place. We're not so proud that we stop building, but we're the kind of proud that encourages us to love harder and open our doors and arms wider until all the beloved community feels safe, welcomed, valued, and deeply loved. We are love's seeds and blossoms. May it always be so. Will you rise in body or spirit and join us in the closing hymn, number 86, Blessed Spirit of My Life.
Spirit
Our chalice extinguishing words are from the Reverend Amy Zucker Morgenstern. When we take fire from our chalice, it does not become less, it becomes more. And so we extinguish our chalice, but we take its light and its warmth with us, multiplying their power by all of our lives and sharing it with the world.
I choose to risk my significance, to live so that that which came to me as seed goes to the next blossom, and that which came to me as blossom goes on as fruit. Our service has now ended, and we invite all of you to stay and join us in the library for coffee and conversation.